We're very excited to have Tony Brylewski of MB Financial Bank and a sponsor of our show. Tony is Vice President of Business Banking at MB Financial Bank, and he has 15 years of banking experience including commercial credit analysis, small business lending, and business banking. Tony uses this array of experience to help his clients maximize their cash flow and meet their financial goals. MB's business banking group is primarily focused on Chicago-based companies who generate up to $10 million in annual sales. Products and services include corporate checking accounts, loans, and treasury management. For over 100 years, MB has been supporting and building deep and lasting relationships with middle market companies and individuals. MB offers a full range of powerful financial solutions and the experience and expertise of bankers who are focused on their clients' success. Thank you for joining us today, Tony.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. What are some key considerations when establishing a banking relationship?
Well, there's a couple things you want to consider. You want to consider the products and services that the bank provides.
Okay.
As far as customer service, you want to make sure that it's to a level that you're going to need. And then, of course, the cost.
Okay.
In addition to that, I also recommend that you check the financial strength of the institution. And then, of course, the convenience, because you'd like to bank with somebody that's near your location.
Right. Cool. So once the business recognizes it's time to grow, what are some items they need to consider for that?
Sure. Well, when you're growing, it's obviously a huge strain on your cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
You have increasing receivables,
Right.
your new equipment, new employees. So it's important that you're working with your business banker to be ahead of that. Make sure you have a line of credit in place. If you're going to need new equipment, you want a term loan
Okay.
to make sure that you're ready for that. And then banks like MB Financial even have borrowing bases so that the loan can grow as your company grows.
Oh, very nice. When it comes to lending, what have you seen that makes an application stronger?
There's actually a couple things that we look at when it comes to an application for a small business loan. We want to look at the cash flow of the company,
Okay.
the collateral, and of course the financial wherewithal of the borrower,
Okay.
so the owner of the company.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, what we're going to look at is what's called the debt service coverage ratio. So we look at the EBITDA, the earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation,
Right.
all that fun stuff,
Right.
and then we compare that to the annual debt amount.
Okay.
Most banks have a threshold. It's usually about 1.2 times debt service coverage. And that's probably the biggest one that we're analyzing.
Mm-hmm.
Then, of course, the collateral. So if it's a line of credit, it's usually short-term assets for the short-term loan.
Okay.
So it's your accounts receivable and things like that.
Okay.
Or for term loans, it's equipment, other long-term assets. And then, of course, for mortgages, it's the real estate.
Right.
So we talked about cash flow, collateral, and now the financial strength of the owner of the company. A lot of people think that it has a lot to do with the credit score, which is not always the case.
Okay.
Banks like to hear the overall story and see where the company's growing.
Okay.
So as long as the owner has a vested interest in the company,
Mhm.
liquidity, that goes a long way.
Okay. Cool. Are there any websites or resources that you can recommend for businesses that are in the earlier stages of business development?
Sure. For the very early stages, I recommend SBA.gov.
Okay.
Tons of resources on there. They even have a really good questionnaire that you can go through that says, basically, am I ready to start my business?
Oh.
Have I considered everything?
Okay.
In addition, talk to your banker. Your banker is going to have attorneys, accountants. They can help you set up your payroll.
Oh, wow.
Merchant processing, checking accounts, all that stuff. So make sure you check out the website, talk to your banker. If you're a manufacturing company, there's a company called IMEC, it's the Illinois Manufacturing Excellence Center.
Okay.
They're a nonprofit, great for manufacturers.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Axion Chicago. They're a microfinancer. They're also a nonprofit. They're absolutely great to work with, and they help secure financing for very small companies and startups.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Tony, for joining us today and providing us with some really great information.
Thanks for having me.
Be sure to check out the Small Business Association at www.sba.gov, Axion at www.axionchicago.org, and IMEC at www.imec.org. To reach out to Tony or to learn more about MB Financial Bank, Check them out at www.mbfinancial.com or call 708-642-6022.